Mateo told us about your pilgrim's voyage.
You found it, didn't you? The meaning of unity. Wait, say that again? Multiple universes?
You can't possibly mean what I think you mean.
Let's take a step back. This is everything we've been building towards, and the implications are a lot to take in. Could you explain the part about multiple universes one more time for everyone?
Yes, I wouldn't mind a little more detail.
And that's why the Starborn want the artifacts so desperately. They're the keys to unlocking the infinite.
I don't even want to think about the physiological changes you'd need to travel between universes.
Plus what it would do to the mind? Enlightenment? Or oblivion? Like the Hunter.
You have the opportunity to reach the closest thing to your god that might exist. And you're second-guessing it?
One doesn't approach the afterlife without some trepidation. You're right. This is a lot to take in.
Take some time to process, everyone. We finally have some answers. Now we need to figure out what to do with them.
Not to make a sharp turn in a grand tale, but I got the eye fixed up. Bruised, but still blinking. Let me know when you're ready to follow up on what it's seen. These last glimpses from the eye are from the farthest fringes of known space. Could be the only remaining pieces outside the hands of the Starborn. Aye. The Blackest Sea seems less of a concern when there are sharks leaping out at you. Catch a smile out there. Gave up my room in the lodge so Andreja had a place to call her own. Everyone needs space. The eye's still looking. Check later. Never regretted coming out of... Keep coming back to one thing. Both of these Starborn, they're people you know. Only they're not the people you know. Say and do things the folks you know would never. Doesn't bode well for anyone stepping into the Unity. Or through it, or however it works. You consider what it might do to you? Experience shapes the person, as much as the other way. And the Unity sounds like an experience with an endless depth, with no hope to fathom. I doubt any declaration of intent will carry fate's hand there. You've tipped my ear. Jaw the words another time, then.
Freestar Rangers. You did their dirty work and then some. So how'd you feel wearing the badge? Well, good on you. It takes a certain type of person to thrive there. Me, I never cared much for being a ranger. Too many of them try to force the world to be only black and white when it's anything but. Take Ron Hope. I mean, the guy's a legend. Before him, Polvo was a desperate, depressing place. Everything he did was to keep his people employed, to keep Hope Tech standing in a backstabbing world of megacorp politics. Not many of us can create something like he did. Tough call on what to do with Ron Hope. Taking his hush money wouldn't have said right with me. But I wonder what's gonna happen to Hopetown without him. Fingers crossed. As much fun as it is being a ranger, I hope you can start focusing on Constellation business. There's plenty of mysteries left in the good old Milky Way to discover. When the time's right, I'd appreciate a chat. Of all the places in the galaxy, only Neon can make me feel so damn oily. And you dealt with its absolute worst. Ryujin, Infinity LTD, all of it. You doing alright? That was a lot. I guess anywhere's better than slumming in an Epside. Even this. How come no matter how advanced society gets, we still just can't help coming up with new horrors to inflict on ourselves? Mechs, xeno-warfare, and now this neuroamp tech. Swear it's the worst yet. Thank God you put a stop to it. Amen to that. With a piece of work like Ryujin, I know there isn't a good person to put in charge. I mean, I guess Masako's better than Ularu Chen, but you just know if violence or being just plain evil was the path of least resistance, then Masako would pick it same as Ularu. You're right. I know you're right. Well, the whole damned affair's over. Thank God.
A credit for your thoughts, as they say.
I feel safe. In a way I have never felt.
Truly? You mean it? You continue to surprise and amaze me. I am at a loss for words. There is, quite literally, nowhere I would rather be. My culture deals with this so differently than I have seen in the rest of the settled systems. I need some time to consider what would be an appropriate, equivalent gesture. But do not mistake that for hesitation. You are the best thing that has ever happened to me. And I will not let you go for a moment.
Back, eh? How's it going? Ron Hope was a real piece of work, wasn't he? Really? How could you let that go from your mind? He held innocent people with little regard, treating their lives like numbers on a balance sheet. It's an absolute disgrace. I'm relieved to hear you say that. Letting him off the hook would have been a terrible injustice. While that's true, it certainly doesn't excuse the blood that he has on his hands. Some of them will, and some of them won't. What happens to them isn't your fault. It's Ron Hope's. Well, I think I've lectured you enough. Thanks for taking the time to listen to me. There's something I need to talk to you about.
Forgot to check the math on a few equations. Brain's long con. Forgetfulness.
Handling those tricky decisions regarding Ryujin must have been difficult. In fact, I'm amazed you were able to deal with them at all. Those types of corporations remind me why I never ventured into business. I can't stand that way of life. No, I suppose they aren't. That's why I'm happy you were around to step in and place Ryujin on the right path. After all, based on your recommendation, they've ceased their work on that disturbing neuroamp technology. Why wouldn't I be pleased about your decision? Can you imagine if that technology had fallen into the wrong hands? The awful things you could force people to do. Oh, it's terribly frightening. Yes, quite. Well, I've certainly taken up enough of your time. Thanks for letting me get that off my mind.
Feel free to help yourself at the bar. I don't drink, but I feel like if I did, now would be a good time for one. Ask if you've got questions. Speak up if you have ideas. We're all here for the same reason. I thought I had a grip on the situation. I'm not so sure anymore. The Sanctum Universum believes that God wanted us to travel the stars. That's gotten us here. Is this... Could this be the next step in that journey? Is this what we were meant to learn out here? Could the unity... Could that be God? Or a way to reach him? I knew we were onto something big with the artifacts, but this... It's beyond anything I could have imagined. The one thing I'm sure of is that we have to see this through. We need to find the rest of the artifacts. Take care of yourself.
Hi there. If you want to talk, make it quick. I think I'm late for Noelle's science lesson. I don't know if I'll ever get used to being around all these people. Everyone hurrying around, talking, eating, drinking, doing a million things. It's so weird. But kind of exciting at the same time, you know? Going from a planet with a population of 3 to this one is going to take a lot of patience and trust, that's for sure. Don't worry about me, I'll be fine.
Well, I suppose that station in orbit has more than paid for itself at this point. Counter to everything I've said and believed before. I've caught myself wondering if we ever should have started this search. If this is all true, and I have it right, we've potentially started a chain of events that will create more of these Starborn. Or worse, enable the ones we've seen to become even stronger. I am not fond of either of those options. So maybe now we have no choice but to finish this journey before one of them does. Does it even work like that? This is enough to make your head spin. Look, I don't like the idea of siding with either one of these groups. I'd much rather see someone from Constellation get there first. I trust any of us far more than these Starborn. Goodbye.
We've always considered ourselves explorers, but this really is uncharted territory, isn't it? It's silly, but I can't stop thinking about the idea that there are more of me out there. Even just one more Noelle is crazy to consider, but dozens, hundreds, an infinite number of them? How different might we all be? Am I not even remotely the unique individual I thought I was? My head is spinning just considering it. Well, I'm glad you seem so certain of that. I'll admit, I'm not that sure at all. Stay safe, okay?
What's new with you today?
as a whole herd of terramorphs touched down undetected.
Hi there. Thanks for choosing Terrabrew. Certainly. Please take your time.
That neon fella. I missed it. How'd it go?
I want another day, another credit. They've got an appointment at Enhanced tomorrow. It's such an... See you around.
That rumor's been circulating for months.
Hello and welcome to Terrabrew. Certainly. Please take your time.
I have a feeling today's going to be a great... Oh, thank you so much. Soon I'll be coursing with bountiful energy. I'll be the most enthusiastic janitor in New Atlantis. Here, take this. I found it while I was cleaning. I figured you might find a use for it. Thanks again. I really appreciate it. Take care of yourself.
My partner's had a nasty cold, so I've just been taking care of it.
I'm always ready to make a deal. It's a buyer's market right now. Good time to make a move. Well, first of all, let me just say congratulations on becoming a United Colony citizen. Let's see what we have available. Right now, I've got a little place in the well that's up for grabs. Needs some work, and the location is less than ideal, but it's a foot in the door, so to speak. I have a penthouse apartment in one of the residential towers. I forgot. Government has dibs on that one. Well, if it comes back on the market, I'll let you know. Sound like something you're interested in? Great. It's very cozy. I'm sure you'll love it. I'll just process the transaction and make sure ownership is transferred. And the apartment is all yours. Congratulations. Enjoy your time in New Atlantis.
It's called a haiku. I just read about them.
A haiku, huh? That sounds exciting. Let's hear it.
Okay.
Complete.
It's called Space.
Hello, Captain. Hi. Please disregard. I attempt.
I hope you're having a good day. Books. I guess it is. Do you have more books, or can you buy me more books? With real pages, a spine, the whole package. My book allowance is all gone and Dad won't get me more. So, books?
Hey, don't let her con you out of more credits. Her book allowance damn near bankrupted me.
Dad, this is between us. I like books about quantum theory and astrophysics. Or science. Or horses. Did you know that it wasn't until after the Industrial Revolution that horse speed was the maximum civilization speed for centuries? All of society was built upon horses. Imagine what they must have looked like for real. They look smelly, in a good way. Oh, Dad, you've made the best friend ever.
Well, now you done it. Now you can get pestered about books nonstop.
Yeah, a small price to pay for my education. Now, the important question. Pizza. Favorite topping? And please don't say cheese. Dad loves boring old cheese. Did you hear that, Dad? Meat! We have you outnumbered!
We could always get one of each.
No, you lose. I have decided that I will stay. You have the Cora stamp of approval. I, seem to have left my stamp back on Dad's ship, but imagine it there, on your arm. Cora approves. I have, Dad. I want to be as good a co-pilot for the captain as I am for you. It
Nice
still
day,
fits,
isn't
Dad.
it?
And I love it. Now,
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Are you sure? I couldn't stand what Neon was turning me into. The city has a way of sucking the life out of you and making you mean. I've seen it happen to lots of people. When I was forced to join the Disciples, I felt the meanness starting to get to me too. And that's what convinced me it was time to go. Yeah, we were. It's a rough place to grow up. I hope you're proud of how far you've made it. I don't know a lot of former street kids who have their own ships, let alone their own crews. You're an inspiration to the rest of us, Captain. Ebbside, the rough part of town. My family shared a sleep crate with a few other people. It was cramped, but at least we had a roof over our heads. Not everybody in Neon can say the same. There's a lot of homelessness in Ebbside. That's the kind of stuff I was happy to leave behind. I didn't have much of a choice. My family owes them a lot of money, and they agreed to let us off the hook for some of it if I'd join the gang and work for them. I couldn't pass that offer up. My parents don't have a lot of income. They opened a shop in Ebbside with the money the Disciples loaned them, but the strikers burned it down. I guess they thought the Disciples were using it for some kind of money laundering. It will, if my family can pay them off. When I joined the Disciples, I made sure they knew that I intended to leave as soon as my debt was squared away. But you can't trust the Disciples as far as you can throw them. That's another reason I decided to look for work outside of Neon. Honestly, I don't want to be anywhere near Neon when the last payment goes through. I'm sure the Disciples would just find another way to get me to stay. My family's still there. The Disciples aren't above using people as tools to get what they want. Thanks so much for understanding. Things won't be like this forever. Only until I've made enough to pay them off. I'm really sorry you have to get wrapped up in this at all. I know it's a messy situation. Almost makes me sorry I ever learned to fight at all. The Disciples might have agreed to let us pay off the debt in some other way if I didn't have something to offer them. Sorry, that's really heavy. Did you have any other questions? I think it's sweet that you like getting to know your crew.
Hello there.
Hey again.
Yes? You need something? Before I say anything else, I wanted to thank you for giving me time. When I first came here, I never expected that I would meet you or feel this way about you. That we would end up here together. I know that you told me you were not going anywhere, but I still worried, if only a little, that my asking for time to think would be a problem. There is no precedent for any of this. A romantic relationship not within the bounds of Barun culture, I mean. I wanted to attempt to honor that culture nonetheless. I know, and I love you for that. The point I am trying to get to is that I believe I have an idea. A way I can demonstrate my commitment to you. I was hoping that would be your response. This is between you and me, and no one else. You know who I am. I do not need to explain myself to you as I would to others. They might not understand, and I do not want that distraction. I want to be able to focus on us. So, as soon as you are ready, I want us to travel together to the second planet in the Shosa system. There's something we need to do there.
Hey, it's my personal savior.
If you are
Thanks
free,
again
you
for
have
the
a
assist.
moment. I'd like to see we talk. If I can help you with anything, just say the word. Forgive me for pulling you aside again, but, well, there's so much to process right now. The emissary, the hunter, the unity, an entire multiverse. I can't even begin to wrap my head around it all. I don't know where to begin. The fact that we are the origin of the Starborn. Humans literally reborn by entering the Unity. The same, yet different. It's unbelievable. I feel like most of the knowledge we've amassed in the last few centuries about the universe has just been made obsolete. Perhaps I'm overreacting, but you can't deny there will be more than a few textbook chapters that need to be rewritten. We've been pushing further and further outwards from our home, when we should have spent more time being prepared for the consequences. Our current problem relates closely to the nature of humans as a species. This rushed curiosity has led us to enter the Unity and become Starborn. It certainly is. Without curiosity, our motivation to explore would vanish. But in this case, there's a difference between exploring the cosmos and blindly entering the unknown without being prepared for the consequences. But it has made a difference. Here we are, caught in the middle of some sort of needlessly violent crusade between the hunter and the emissary. You'd think that a technologically advanced society would have evolved past petty squabbling over something like the artifacts. It almost makes me wonder if entering the Unity has done them more harm than good. Oh, absolutely. Their arrival in our universe is much too timely to be for any other reason. It's also clear that the need to collect these artifacts are an obsession for them, almost bordering on an addiction. That leads me to wonder what the Unity has done to their minds and their souls. No, that's not it at all. When you pass into whatever lies beyond, we don't know what will become of you. Will you remember your life as you knew it? Will the hunger to collect the artifacts consume your life like it's clearly consumed the Starborn? This goes well beyond the boundaries of simple exploration. As the chair of Constellation, I want all of us to have this opportunity to explore the Unity. It would be the pinnacle exploration of our lives. However, after we enter the Unity, we'll likely evolve. You and I, as we stand here right now, will essentially cease to exist. The truth is, you're my friend, and I don't want to lose you. I'm not sure. I'm guessing based on what we've learned. Even if I accompany you into the Unity, the question still remains. Would we know each other anymore? Even if we did, would we care? Part of what I do as chair of Constellation is weigh the costs of our expeditions. And this one, the cost is extremely high. You're right. I'm sorry. Listen, I realize nothing that I say is ever going to change your mind or diminish the enticement of this incredible opportunity. All I ask is that you research the facts before you blindly stumble off into the unknown. Thank you. Well, I suppose I've ruined the moment again, haven't I? I'm getting quite good at that lately. I'll let you get back to whatever you were doing. Just think what we discussed. I know I will.
Some folk never leave their hometown. Whatever you need.
Undocking complete, Captain.
I have things I wish to discuss with you. When you have time. I am here for you, should you need me. So, we finally have all the answers. And yet here I stand, feeling like I understand even less than I did before. This talk of the unity of a multiverse? Dead friends appearing again? It is all simply too much. Does it? Perhaps you find all this satisfactory, but I am afraid I do not. We must take the word of a murderer and follow him into the Unity? What if it does nothing the Starborn have claimed? So you would just step into this Unity based on what? Feelings? You have no idea what will happen if you do. None at all. Even if everything the Starborn have said is true, if you pass into this Unity and come out in some other universe, look at who they are, and what they have become. They have the faces and voices of people you know, but are nothing like them. Are you not at all worried that the same fate would befall you? That you would become someone unrecognizable to the rest of us? Now you sound like Sarah, but you are not wrong. I will do my best to assume the best, but you cannot blame me for preparing for the worst. We should get back to it. Now that we know what to work towards, there's no time to waste. Your abilities are truly amazing.
Yes? You needed something?
Back in the lab. Quiet, safe, secure. Just how I like it. Well, will you look at that? Huh. And it seems to be in working condition. So you see, even when tragedy strikes, there's people like you to help pick up the pieces. It makes me feel good about where we're going as a species. Well, I hope so. And with all the resources we have here, I have no excuse not to. Here, I know credits are a lazy gift, but as a scientist, I think it's better to be practical. Thanks again.
requires vital materials to sustain the mission. Transmitting coordinates on Corinthians 3. End of message. Human of unknown origin detected. Designated outsider. This is an undisclosed secret location. Please identify purpose or depart. Outsider is not part of plan. End of inquiry. Acknowledging receipt of emergency request. Explanation deemed acceptable. Clearance granted to Crucible. Outsider will deliver 150 units of copper. Compensation will be dispensed.
Tobias, stand down. We have a visitor.
Reminder, deliver required material. End of conversation.
This is incredible. For so long we hoped for any visit, and the day has finally arrived. Oh dear, that's a surprisingly tricky question. I'm probably not the person to answer it, but it is a genuine pleasure to meet you. We see no one, ever. Your arrival is truly an historic one, but many fear what it portends. The societies have closed their doors and are arguing about what to do, while the rest hide to see which way the wind blows. Franklin would know what to do. He's the oldest among us. You should talk with him. Crucible is a tinderbox, and any spark will set it off. We're still recovering from a deadly conflict that happened 3 years ago. Far fewer of us are here to greet you today because of it. Most of us are like me, free and unaligned. But there are 3 societies that are oft at odds with one another. The Believers, the Pragmatists, and the Renegades. It would be wise to meet each of them. Franklin leads the Pragmatists. Give it time, and I'm sure the others will come out. For curiosity's sake, if nothing else.
When your ship landed, I feared the robots would shoot you on sight. I am greatly relieved that they let you enter our community. But you come during a delicate time. Everyone will seek to use your arrival to further their own ends. No, we most certainly do not. Our relationship with them is a matter of some debate. You ask a question you already know the answer to. Yes, of course. I have need of you. But if you have a good heart and a quick mind, I am sure you will see my point of view. As well you should. I am Franklin Delano Roosevelt, leader of the Pragmatist Society.
Well,
it is gratifying that even after all these years, my name isn't entirely forgot. You see, I was an American president. Well, not literally, but in a sense I was. Everyone that lives here are clones. Some of us are clones of the greatest figures of history, and others, well, we don't rightly know. When we die, and some of us die quite often, we are brought back. I cannot imagine how strange this must sound to an outsider. Now, there is the question, isn't it? I do not have FDR's memories, but I know every nuance of his life and times. Well, as much as history records. I confess, I feel an undeniable affinity towards him. But no, I am my own man, but not all of us see it that way. Not at all. I have had occasion to see death more than anyone. When someone dies, all they have accomplished here in Crucible, all of their deeds, thoughts, are gone. And when they come back, they are different, modified. The believers say they are improved. Being reborn can take years, sometimes over a decade. But everyone comes back. Isn't it? I wish I could illuminate you on this, but we are as ignorant of the technology which brought us into being as we are of the outside world. Then you must live a remarkably interesting life. After decades, centuries, of trying to figure it out ourselves, there is so very much we don't know either. The robots clone us for a reason, their so-called mission. But what that is, and what we should do about it, is something the societies disagree about. Sometimes violently. It's best you meet with the other societies, and after, I promise I'll explain the pragmatist's position on matters. Well, it is one of the few concrete things we know about Crucible. If you want to truly know about the mission, the believers will tell you all about it. In fact, it can be hard to get them to stop talking about it. After you meet with them, I'll share my position. Please do. Word has been sent, so the street should be full again. There is more I would talk with you about, but I would not take advantage of your ignorance. Go speak with the Monirinas and Genghis Khan.
I just wish the societies could get along.
Roosevelt is the only one that really cares about us as people. Some of the turrets are failing.
You can hear the howls at night. The defenses have to hold. Change is coming.
Welcome to town, stranger. Consider me part of the welcoming committee. The name's Wyatt Earp, and I'd be most pleased if you'd use one of the spare rooms during your stay. For a modest fee, of course. He was, and I try to be. I do the best I can to uphold the law, but the societies make that difficult. I expect I've had as much success restraining Genghis as the Chinese did. I do what I can. Roosevelt and I are both of the same mind on that. I'm for whatever side wants to keep the peace. It means that the pragmatists and I are often on the same side of things, but you might be surprised the number of times I've had to ask some of them to back off some nonsense. That's a generous offer. I might take you up on it. Well, I hope you enjoy your stay. And by the by, I may have access to some essentials I've picked up over the years. Happy to sell them to you. It runs hot and cold. During usual times, it's an occasional scuffle. Maybe a black eye when an argument gets out of hand. And then a society goes on a rampage and it's tombstone all over. I hope your arrival keeps things on an even keel. The customer is always right. I'm hoping you come back for some repeat business.